Seven-time world champion Lewis Hamilton is going through one of the most difficult phases of his career at Ferrari. After a catastrophic weekend at the Hungarian Grand Prix, the English driver reached his breaking point and uttered words that shook the Formula One world. He declared that Ferrari should look for another driver as he was feeling useless. But has Hamilton really reached the end of the line? Or are there much more complex issues unfolding behind the scenes at the Italian team? And what led one of the biggest names in motorsport to expose himself in such a drastic way? Let's start with the facts. Hamilton, who has won 8 times at the Hungaroring, more than any other driver in the history of the track, faced one of the most embarrassing weekends of his career. During qualifying, he missed out on advancing to the second segment by just 15 thousandths of a second to Sauber's Gabriel Bortoleto. At the same time, his teammate Charles Leclerc secured pole position, benefiting from a sudden change in wind direction that favored the Monegasque driver and penalized the McLaren representatives. The situation deteriorated even further during Sunday's race. Hamilton started the race in 12th place and crossed the finish line in exactly the same position, unable to overtake anyone throughout the entire race. To gauge the seriousness of the moment since 2022, the start of the current regulatory era, Hamilton has been excluded from the top 10 on only 4 occasions in 82 races. We are witnessing something extraordinarily unusual in the career of one of the greatest competitors in history. A striking contrast emerges here that highlights the complexity of this situation. While Hamilton failed to even advance to the second qualifying segment, McLaren's Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris dominated the weekend until they were affected by the change in weather. The disparity in performance between the elite teams and the midfield has never been so evident, and Hamilton found himself in the most uncomfortable position possible for a champion, at the center of this battle. However, what caused the most controversy was not the result itself, but Hamilton's strong reaction after qualifying. The Briton said he was useless and suggested that Ferrari should look for another driver. Jamie Chadwick, 3-time W Series champion and Sky Sports analyst, described the comments as terrible and painful to listen to. According to her analysis, Hamilton faces a double problem. He moved to Ferrari with the specific purpose of winning his 8th world championship, not simply to achieve good results. At 40, he understands that time is running out and that his current car does not have the potential to compete for the title. The psychological strain Hamilton is experiencing is something that few drivers in Formula One history have ever experienced. Imagine the feeling of being the most successful competitor in the sport, having left a winning team like Mercedes to fulfill your dream of racing for Ferrari and finding yourself struggling to score points. It is a relentless reality that would challenge any athlete, even the most mentally resilient. This is where the situation becomes fascinating. Why would a driver of Hamilton's experience and stature expose himself in this way publicly? Is it just momentary frustration, or is there a strategy behind this statement? Some analysts believe that Hamilton may be trying to pressure Ferrari to implement more radical changes to the technical structure or development of the car. Others suggest that this harsh self-criticism is a protective mechanism to shield the team from external criticism. History shows us that great champions often go through periods of public questioning. Michael Schumacher faced difficult times, Ayrton Senna also went through complicated phases, and even Max Verstappen has experienced moments of extreme frustration. The difference is that Hamilton is going through this at the age of 40, at a stage in his career when he should be enjoying the benefits of his experience. Fred Vasseur, Ferrari's director, sought to identify positive aspects of the weekend, explaining that Hamilton was hampered by the strategy of starting with hard compounds, which placed him in the middle of traffic in a DRS queue, a situation that makes overtaking virtually impossible. However, Vasseur also acknowledged something worrying. Both Hamilton and Leclerc lost pace dramatically during the race, and the team needs to investigate the reasons for this phenomenon. This inconsistency in Ferrari's performance raises serious questions about the development of the car and the team's ability to maintain competitiveness over a full weekend. It is as if Ferrari were a team with a split personality, capable of taking pole position one afternoon and completely disoriented the next day. This irregular pattern has manifested itself in several races this season. What intrigues experts most is how a team can have enough pace to finish first on Saturday and then completely lose its competitiveness on Sunday. This suggests deep-rooted problems in understanding the car or in the ability to adapt it to different track conditions. For a driver of Hamilton's experience, this unpredictability must be extremely frustrating. But Hamilton did not limit himself to lamenting. After the race, he sent a direct message to all his critics. "Don't count me out." The seven-time champion has promised to use the summer break to reinvent himself and return stronger for the Dutch Grand Prix at the end of August. Hamilton has made it clear that despite the problems, the battle is not over, and he still has a lot to contribute. The question remains, does the problem really lie with Hamilton or with Ferrari? When we examine the data, we see that Leclerc took pole position in the same car, which suggests that the 2025 single-seater has potential. On the other hand, the dramatic loss of performance during the race affected both drivers, indicating that there is a structural problem within the team. The timing of this crisis is also crucial. We are halfway through the 2025 season, and Hamilton is facing the reality that his first season at Ferrari may not be the fairy tale he imagined. At 40, every missed opportunity carries more weight, especially when you are chasing an 8th world title that would put you alone at the top of Formula One history. Hamilton's situation at Ferrari leads us to reflect on something bigger. How far does a champion's tolerance go? During his glorious stint at Mercedes, Hamilton won 6 of his 7 titles and got used to always fighting at the front. Now, at Ferrari, he has to deal with the frustration of seeing the car show potential at times and be completely inadequate at others. The summer break will be crucial for Hamilton and Ferrari. If the team can solve the technical problems that caused the loss of performance during the races, there is still time for Hamilton to show why he is considered one of the greatest of all time. But if the problems persist, Ferrari may be wasting one of its last opportunities to have a driver of this magnitude. One thing is certain, Hamilton is not one to give up easily. His career has been marked by impressive comebacks and the ability to reinvent himself in the most difficult moments. The message, "Don't count me out," was not just a message to his critics, but a promise that he still has a lot to show. The question now is whether Ferrari will be able to provide him with the tools he needs to do so. What do you think? Is Hamilton really in decline, or is Ferrari not taking full advantage of a 7-time world champion? Leave your opinion in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any analysis of what's going on behind the scenes in Formula One.